If you just joined us, this is Living Proof on KRCB Outbeat Radio. We are in studio with Joey Brite, the Doctor of Color, talking about coming out, painting, and relationships. So we started our show with Dianna and I was saying that Dianna and I did a remodel and we did not divorce. And a lot of people say if you can get through a remodel, not divorce, you know, that's pretty fantastic. And when I said that, Joey's eyebrows went up like, what? You went through a remodel? And how many fights did you have? And I said, we only had one fight. So can you, Joey, tell us why that stuck out for you?
Because in my experience, which is now more than 35 years, straight couples, when women are pregnant, they decide they want to have a kitchen or a bathroom remodel, and they're like, 6 months pregnant, and I would come in with a crew of people, and we just like always looking at each other, waiting for the shoe to drop, and many times a divorce would happen before the kitchen was even done or the bathroom was done. A pregnant woman, you just don't mess with that. And gay couples, not so much. I'm saying gay as in gay male couples. A lot of times, one or both of them have gotten every detail down to the second. And, they're very sure about who they're going to talk to and what's up, and they've done all the planning and everything. And it's a very interesting dynamic to see. Women in same-sex couples, females want to talk and process every damn thing. They want the grout color. They want to know what's going on with the floor. They want, as soon as they know that the options exist, now they got to talk about everything. And then a lot of times they got to argue about everything, and it can go on and on and on, and it'd be crazy. It just, again, it's that thing we were talking about earlier off air. It's about nest building, and there's this thing of the couple wanting to know that the other one feels just the way that she does. She wanted to have, the black countertop, and they're hoping that they agree on, the color of the cabinets and what's going to go in an accent wall and all that stuff, and then they feel okay. And a lot of times, if one feels differently, it's like the world is shattered, and they're not going to be able to retrieve that bonding that they felt before. And a general contractor cannot usually pull that together. It takes people to be able to negotiate that. And separate from being a color consultant, I do get hired occasionally to do that negotiation. Exactly. That's why I always encourage people, when you are first looking at a remodel, don't just look at hiring the architect and the general contractor. Have the other person come in who can act as the smoother, the communicator for all of these people, for everything to run smoothly, because lawsuits, do happen sometimes. And so somebody else kind of acting as that liaison. So I act as a liaison sometimes. I do that for like $100 an hour. Rates vary depending on locations and the needs of clients and things, and sometimes that's what it takes. And you had one fight, so I said, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a strong relationship.
I was telling Dianna I didn't even remember what the fight was about, but you remember, right, Dianna?
Yeah, but as far as colors and what type of wood and tile or carpet, I think we were very clear and easygoing about that part. It was the more character stuff that kind of...
Like what?
Well, I mean, just you wanted me to take the lead all the time and get on the contractors' cases and make them work harder, and it's like, Cher, you have a voice, you could say something too, and so we kind of got in a little fight around that, but then she was able to, rise.
Well, if I remember correctly, I actually...
See what you started, Joey?
But it's true. You're going to finish the fight that you never really...
No, I mean, it's all done, but I have a hard time confronting people. And it's easier to go through Dianna.
I used her as the bad cop.
Thank you.
You set up good cop, bad cop, so you could look cool, and she's...
Well, it's not that I would look cool. I was gone. I was working. I was out the door at 5:30 in the morning, and I returned after the workers left. So it would make sense that Dianna, who was home all the time, would be talking to the people, right?
Yeah, that does make sense, but exactly, you're bringing up something that people don't think about ahead of time when they go, okay. Now imagine how it would have been if you and Dianna had sat down before you even started the process. You invite some stranger into your lives who's going to be in your home, and you say, look, this is how I think we need to work this. This is going to be the smoothest for us, for the contractor. That's where somebody like a color consultant coming in with an architect, with a painting contractor, with the interior decorator or designer. Color consultant helps that couple or whoever's living in the home look at all the aspects of things, because I know the drying times of things. I know usually how many weeks it takes to get a floor done, or how many days you have to stay off of the hardwood floor when it got refinished. How long it takes for the grout to dry so that you're not going to be able to shower for the next, 48 hours. Many times the contractors and other people, they don't tell you that stuff. They just expect you like you're going to be gone, and you're not going to poof and leave. Some people do, but it's those kinds of things. So if you'd had, say, if you guys had hired me at that point, in the beginning, I could have said, this is how it can possibly look. And especially with a kitchen remodel, contractors usually, it's not necessarily that they're lying, but your countertop or something, maybe it fell on the boat coming from Greece. I've had stuff like that happen, and all of a sudden, the job that they said was going to cost $35,000 has now gone to $55,000, $65,000, $75,000 instead of 3 months, it's 6 months. That's why somebody who's pregnant, a woman is starting to get a little itchy, or someone's in grad school, that's another one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm on the outside and I can kind of see this, but...
Yeah, that's already enough stress, and then to do a remodel, the remodel was pretty stressful. And we had, in our situation, we had 4 foster kids living with us during. And seriously,
but we did.
Everything was so smooth, because Dianna and I really talked about everything except the whole thing around me. She wanted me to take more control, more power, I guess, was just a character flaw anyway in my life anyway, and that I had to, I had to rise and learn how to do it. So it was
Hey,
a
congratulations,
good school,
you've been together for more than 30-something years
Yeah.
now,
34
right?
years.
Awesome. I've seen far lesser,
Yeah. Well, I think it was an opportunity to learn a lot about ourselves as people and as a couple, and I think it was a good
Yeah, it was good. And I can see how, Joey, you can help couples or individual, couples basically, because we're talking couples, to go into their home.
shared environments.
Yeah, and shared environments, okay. And, help them, get through these hard places, because, as a therapist, I hear stories like this. Sharon and I, we're different because we're able to handle things differently, but I hear divorces and separations over this type of thing a lot, so they need to know more about you and what you do.
And you talk about being a psychotherapist. Okay, this thing going back to the doctor of color. I'm going to somebody's house, and they say, oh yeah, we wanted the green room or whatever, and then I get there, and all of a sudden, maybe one in the couple, I bring these very large color format sheets, these sample sheets. All of a sudden, a face will change on the other person, and I'll go, what's going on? And they go, oh, that green? I had that in my childhood. That's where one of my parents abused me. All of a sudden, in that session, unbeknownst, something comes up. Color stimulates a lot of things. I see that something's going on, right then, I feel like I have something to offer that a lot of color consultants do notice that stuff, but they wouldn't necessarily pick up on it to really want to do something about it and be gentle with it. So
what did you do, or what would you do in that case where one loves this color green and the other one goes, wait a minute, this brings up something from my childhood, and it's really a heavy thing that she shares with you, like being molested? There
was a real story. This was a few years back, where both the women, very strong relationship, great, again, living room, they wanted a green, all kinds of greens. We start looking through all these greens, and you've got greens that are like forest green, you've got lime green, bright things, stuff that kids are attracted to. They had some adopted children. They started thinking they had to have this room be so that the kids would like it. I'm just trying to get them to, go in a direction. All of a sudden we get to like an avocado green in the selection. One of the partners just shut down, and she started looking tearful. This one didn't notice because she's so excited looking at the colors, and I just stopped for a little bit and I said, you want to look at this, because it seems like you're having some, feelings about it, without sounding too, corny like I'm a therapist. And she broke down, and she remembered some incident back in the avocado colors of that house, and it was like, we're not going there at all. And of course her lover was like, we don't need it, don't worry, we don't need to go anywhere near that. And moving from that, opening a fan deck, taking a pause, I mean, and